Hello, and welcome to First Impressions, the series where I give my first impressions on a movie that I just watched. While watching The Last Exorcism for the first time, it felt a little bit like listening to Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper. Without looking too deep into it, the movie will seem pretty happy and cheerful, with some joking and upbeat scenes. But once you look deeper into the movie, there are some sinister themes at work. Now, I don't want to talk in too much detail about this movie in order to not spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go and watch it. Very early on in the movie, we are introduced to our protagonist, who is a minister who has lost his faith and uses exorcisms and preachings to purely bring in money for himself, his family, and possibly the church, even though it's not quite touched on. We can see early on that the protagonist is fairly jaded in his faith for reasons that I'm not going to say because it would spoil part of the movie. But you can definitely see it, the way he mocks people who come to him for help, and the way that he mocks his preachings while preparing for them. From this, we can have a pretty good sense of what the rest of the movie will feel like. Not too long into the movie, he is hired to perform an exorcism for a family and their supposedly possessed daughter. When he goes to interview the family to see what they need, it is very apparent that he is not a believer in possessions and demons. So what he does is employ a number of tactics to make them believe that he is performing a real exorcism when in all reality it is all smoke and mirrors. But later into the movie, he finds out that things are not exactly as they seem, taking a turn for the unexpected. I can't say much about the final hour of this movie without spoiling it. But what I can say is that I feel like this movie should have ended about 20 minutes earlier than it did. The conclusion was there, and it would have subverted all expectations. All in all, this was an enjoyable movie, and it took a not-so-standard approach to possession or found footage films up until the last 20 minutes. So based purely on one viewing and a limited amount of time to think about the film, I will give this a 7 out of 10, a little higher than average. It was a very fun film to watch, but the ending was not very satisfactory, in my opinion. Thank you very much for watching. Tune in next time for another First Impressions review.